The Home Office has said that more than 17,000 asylum seekers are missing. We're going to read into this more from the BBC, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from the BBC with a headline that asylum seekers, the Home Office says more than 17,000 are missing. The Home Office officials have admitted they do not know the whereabouts of more than 17,000 asylum seekers whose claims have been discontinued. Now, let me be frank with you guys. I've covered the story a while ago. And if I find it, I'll put a link in the description. If I find it in my files, I'll put the link in the description. There was a story where they dumped a bunch of asylum seekers at London Victoria Station with an attempt to try and basically get them off the records. This was at the time the records were so high that they weren't processing enough asylum seeking claims. So what they were trying to do was basically write them off the records as opposed to actually dealing with them and looking after these people. They were trying to basically just make them disappear. Now, it would not surprise me whatsoever if a vast majority of these numbers are simply ones that they've just basically stopped tracking, stopped caring about, and just basically let them disappear into the unknown. And unfortunately, what's going to happen, and what is happening, is a lot of them are falling into the traps of the criminal underworld, where some of them are completely alone or have been picked up by criminal gangs, going into drug dealers or into crime, or being forced into working in places where they have absolutely nothing, and they're basically essentially being used as slave labour. Because this does happen in our country, as much as it disheartens me to think about that. I've covered one or two stories of where people were being abused by the fact that they are immigrants, and they're getting away with it. 17,000 are missing. Just think about that. That's a massive population. 17,000 people, and they've completely disappeared. And a lot of them have probably just been written off the records, just like that. This government doesn't give a shit about them. They never have, and they never will. And they're only using them as nothing more than a political weapon to distract the public from the real problems that are taking place in this country. And this is not just a number. This is 17,000 human beings with emotions or feelings who have come from all sorts of reasons, whether it's from war, from famine, from climate change, from disasters that have taken place in many different parts of the world. And it's important for us to make that distinction, guys. So Home Office officials have admitted they do not know the whereabouts of more than 17,000 asylum seekers whose claims have been discontinued. So my first point I want to make, guys, is why have they discontinued them? What is the reason behind that? Is it simply just a case of just because they don't want to bother chasing it up? What's the reason? Why have they just been discontinued? The numbers emerge as MPs discuss Rishi Sunak's target to eliminate the asylum backlog by the end of the year. See, this stupid idea. See, for me, what they're going to do is, if they're going to eliminate the asylum backlog, they're basically just going to throw them out onto the street and basically saying, we've sorted you, you're done, with no help whatsoever. And it's going to be thrown onto charities to give them help. Charities are going to be pulling their absolute hair out trying to help these people. At Christmas time as well. The Home Office have withdrawn thousands of asylum applications after claimants failed to respond. A senior Tory official told the Home Affairs Select Committee, I don't think we know where all these people are. Asked whether some people have returned to their home country, Simon Ricky, a civil servant in the Home Office, said he did not know. Officials told the committee that claims are withdrawn if asylum seekers fail to respond to 2 successive caseworker requests or questionnaires. Since December last year, this has happened 17,316 times. In 2021, 2,141 applications were refused or withdrawn, although 24,404 were refused or withdrawn in 2004. When an application is withdrawn, it means they are no longer being considered, and if their claimant remains in the UK, they are here illegally and can be removed. So let me just paint this picture for you guys, right? So this is what can happen, right? Person who may end up falling into criminal gangs and the criminal underworld at no fault of their own, potentially, right? Who came here, who came with the intention of doing good, may have fallen into this world, right? And then they get caught by UK border forces or something like that, right? Yeah, and no fault of their own, and then they're shipped back to their country where they could potentially be killed. Just paint that story in your head, right? Someone coming to this country, and you end up with the wrong kind of people, and rather than get themselves legally sorted and established here in the UK, they end up falling into a life of crime because they have absolutely nothing. And then when they're caught by UK officials, they're shifted back to their country of origin, even though they could potentially die. Figures published last week put the number of cases in the so-called legacy backlog at 39,668 as of the end of September. This relates to asylum claims made before June 2022. The Home Office most senior civil servant, Sir Matthew Rycroft, said the government has always been confident it would reach the target set by the Prime Minister and has hired more caseworkers to assess claims. But Conservative MP Tim Lonergan, who is on the Select Committee, said it is strange that conveniently, when faced with a very stiff target, there has been a threefold increase in the undetermined reason for people magically not going forward with their claims. Officials are under pressure to reduce the backlog as the government continues with plans to send asylum seekers to Rwanda. I'm not talking about that crap. I've already talked about Rwanda enough times. In another video I might do it again, but not right now. So Matthew told MPs that officials in the capital's Cali were to put finishing touches to the talks after the Supreme Court ruled the plans were unlawful. Court said there is a risk asylum seekers could be returned to their home country, which would break UK and international human rights laws. The Home Office is negotiating a treaty with Rishi Sunak and says it will satisfy the Supreme Court's concerns about Rwanda being a third safe country. No, it's not. It's just going to try and override them. The government says the police would deter people from using small boats in English and cross the English Channel. As of 13th November, 27,284 people have crossed the English Channel in small boats in 2023. There are questions about how much the government has already paid Rwanda after MPs were told it would be months before they would learn whether it would be more than 140 million previously disclosed. So Matthew hinted more could be paid, but it would not say if any additional payments had been made, instead saying ministers had decided not to reveal that information until the summer. Committee chairwoman Labour MP Dame Diana Johnson said this response made it quite hard to effectively scrutinise their flagship policy of the Home Office and how much is being spent on it when we're only getting the figures at the end of the year. Yeah, that's the other thing as well. It's coming up to the end of the year and we're only being told these figures now as well. So that's another distinction really to make, yeah, as well. It's incredibly worrying. I mean, when the Shadow Home Minister goes in, Yvette Cooper, I believe it is, like, she's just going to have so much on her plate when she goes into that role. I expect her to anyway, but my oh my, it's just going to be an absolutely impossible, a mammoth challenge for her to get control of this whatsoever. But my main concern is the whereabouts of where these people are, and I generally mean this, I just hope they're okay, I hope they're safe, and I just hope they get their application sorted, and I just don't want these people being sent back to their countries knowing that they could be putting their lives in danger in doing so, of being sent back. And I think that's really important to make that distinction here, because it's very hard for some of them it's very, very hard for them to potentially make contact as well. So there's all sorts of reasons. Yes, it's easy to say, well, they're in the hotels or barges or barracks or wherever they put. Well, it's very easy for them to Some of them may have left and disappeared into towns and whatnot. They could be anywhere. Some of these people, we don't know that. Some of them may have gone back to their country. We don't know for sure. There's all sorts of reasons of where these numbers are. But they are still human beings, just like you and I, and they need to be accounted for. That is for sure. And it's the 17,000 people that can contribute to the economy as well. I think that's important to make that distinction as well. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of this number? 17,000 people are missing. What do you guys think? Yeah, what some of the numbers and the reasons are behind them? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Eager to hear what you guys are thinking about it. Hit the like button, we greatly appreciate. Share it across social media so others are aware. And hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, which would be greatly appreciated, you can do by buying me a coffee or joining me on Patreon, where you can get extra content on there for free. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.